Hi everyone, welcome to Spore science classes. I hope you all have already subscribed my channel. If anybody is still remaining to subscribe, please subscribe and support me. So let's start the video.
Today we are going to learn about a new chapter, how do organisms reproduce. Before going in detail of this chapter, we have to understand what you mean by reproduction. Reproduction is the process by which living organisms produce new individuals of the same species. This is exclusively phenomena of living organism. कोई सा भी non-living organism reproduce नहीं करती है. That means कोई सा भी living organism उनका same species की offsprings को बना रही है, then that process is known as reproduction. ये reproduction is necessary for the survival and increase in population of the species. ऐसे reproduction नहीं हो रही है, then the organism do not survive. That means their population will decrease and that species will become extinct. Now, if you are checking the type of reproduction, there are mainly two types of reproduction. You can see that asexual mode of reproduction and sexual mode of reproduction. Asexual mode of reproduction, it's actually reproduction in which new individuals are produced from a single parent. उधर we can say that it's just like making a copy. That means वो parent की सिर्फ copy बना रही है. We can say them as clones. In sexual reproduction, you can see that there will be two parents, that means two individuals that will involve and they will produce their gametes. That gametes will fuse together to form a zygote and that will become an individual. So you can see that there will be the genetic combination from two different individuals. So the genetic variation की chances बहुत ज़्यादा है. Asexual reproduction में just making a copy, तो उधर variation की chances बहुत कम है. First, in this session, we are going in detail of asexual reproduction methods. There are different types of asexual reproduction such as fission, budding, regeneration, fragmentation, spore formation and vegetative propagation. One by one, we will go. First one, the fission. Fission means it is an asexual mode of reproduction जिसमें unicellular organism, mostly unicellular organisms is showing this fission. It will divide into two daughter cells. Fission, simply we can say that it's a division. Again, these fission can be divided into two categories, binary fission and multiple fission. If this organism divide that entire cell into two individuals, then it is called binary fission. Or the organism divides into many daughter cells, then it is called multiple fission. We will take an example of amoeba. You can see in the picture the amoeba. First, the nucleus is dividing. So the first step of binary fission is karyokinesis. Karyokinesis की मतलब nuclear division. पहले nucleus divide करेगा, धीरे-धीरे the nucleus will become two and the cytoplasm will divide. That's called cytokinesis. And you can see that in the picture, it is very clear that once the cytoplasm will also divide, the single parent will become two daughter cells. So here, in this method of binary fission, the organism divide and form two daughter cells. The nucleus divides first, that's the karyokinesis, then followed by the cytoplasm division, which is the cytokinesis. And later, it will form two daughter cells. Most common type of this binary fission is actually shown by Amoeba and Paramaecium, etc., which is the protista. Now the multiple fission. Multiple fission, in which this method the organism divide into many daughter cells. Mostly the best example here is Plasmodium, the malarial parasite. There are different species of Plasmodium, जैसे कि Plasmodium vivax. It is also a malarial parasite. Whenever unfavorable condition will be there, ये malarial parasite की single nucleus will continuously divide and it will form multinucleated structure. And there will be a single cytoplasm. Inside the cytoplasm, there will be a lots of nucleus will be there. A multinucleated structure. Whenever favorable condition will come, these structure will burst upon and these all will form a single individual. That means from one single organism, there will be many daughter cells produced. That's why it is called multiple fission. Next type of asexual reproduction we are going to learn, that's actually the budding. In this method, the bud-like projection will be there coming from the organism and this bud later develops into a new individual. this bud can separate from the parent and form an independent individual. Examples are Hydra and Yeast. In Hydra also, in the picture it's clearly visible. There is a bud coming from that organism. It's developed into a complete individual. Once the development completed, it will detach from the mother cell and it can grow as a individual organism. In the same way, you can see that yeast, which is a unicellular fungi, the mother cell will produce small bud-like structure. Later, these buds will grow on such that and it can detach from the mother organism or it can be attached to the mother organism itself. So that is the new organism. This type of asexual mode of reproduction is called budding. Next type of asexual reproduction is regeneration. In this method, a part of the body of the organism, by means, if any means of it is cut down or anything broken, this can be developed into a new individual. This is mostly shown by Hydra, Planaria, starfish, etc. इसमें क्या होती है? By mistake, by accident or anything, if the part of the body of that organism cut हो गया है, so the entire part will grow into the new individual. The highest degree of regeneration is shown by Planaria. और हाइड्रा भी थोड़ा बहुत regenerative capacity दिखाती है, but the true regeneration or highest degree of regeneration is shown by Planaria. In starfish and all, it can also show regeneration, but it's not true regeneration, because if any arms or anything, any small part is cut down, it can form its arms again. Or you can see such type of regeneration in lizards also. If the tail is cut down, it can form the tail again. But in the case of Planaria, the entire organism, if their body cut down into small pieces, the entire body parts can be regenerated into a new individual. So that's why we are telling Planaria is the organism which is showing highest degree of regeneration. Next type of asexual mode of reproduction is fragmentation. In this method, the body of the simple multicellular organism breaks up into smaller pieces, and that will be grow into a new individual. You can see that the best example is that the green algae Spirogyra, which is a multicellular filamentous algae. If it is broken into small fragment, each fragment can be grown into the new individual. The best example is Spirogyra, which is known as the pond silk. The next type of asexual reproduction is spore formation. In this method, you can see that there will be a special structure which is called sporangia, in which the spores are producing. These are actually, you can see that the sporangia in the picture also it's given very clearly. These are the sporangium, in which you can see that the small spores will be there, which is a special structure. Whenever there will be favorable condition, this sporangia will be burst open and the spores will be burst out and it will be spread throughout the surface. It can carried by the wind along a long distance, and every spores will develop into a new individual. Examples mostly in fungi, Rhizopus, Mucor, Paramaecium, these all are the best examples of spore formation. So here we are finishing the main methods of asexual reproduction. Now we are moving to the next type of asexual reproduction, that's actually the vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation mainly seen in plants. Here you can see that in plants, the vegetative parts, जैसे कि roots, stem, leaf, etc. These all parts can be produced into a new organism or new plant. From roots also you can produce new plant, जैसे कि sweet potato में or dahlia में वगैरह. You can use that roots as a vegetative part from which you can produce a new plant. You can use even stems also. A modified stem like that, potato, ginger, etc. can be used to produce a new plant. And you can even see from leaf also we can produce new plant, जैसे कि bryophyllum. In bryophyllum you can see that the leaf margin from where when it is touched with the soil, the new buds vegetative propagules will be produced and which can again generate into a new organism. There are so many beneficial features for this vegetative propagation. You know that the fruits and flowers, these are the actually sexual mode of reproduction. The production of seeds and the flowers, it will take so much of time. If you are producing a plant by using vegetative propagation, it will take very less time. And those plants without seeds, they can also produce by means of vegetative propagation. So these vegetative propagation can also be done artificially by cutting, layering, grafting, etc. So it is very helpful and it is actually very less time consuming. You will get the result also, that means the fruits and flowers very less time, in very less time. So here we are finishing all type of asexual reproduction methods. I hope it is very clear for you.